Welcome back to the Always Bayern Chelsea show, everybody. Wednesday, January 22nd. I am putting up an emergency episode here due to the horrible loss that Bayern Munich just had against Feyenoord in the Champions League, 0-3, and I'm flying solo, desperado mode, just coming on here raw right after the match to give you my initial thoughts. Usually I like to take some time and think about things, but this one was so bad that we're sitting down and we're doing it right here, right now. But before I begin, I just want to point you to the YouTube channel because we have been releasing video episodes of all the Always Bayern Chelsea show episodes. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for those video episodes. We'll be getting back to putting those out regularly, so give them a like and comment. I do respond to all the comments, so if you want to join in on the conversation, I always appreciate that. But yeah, let's just go and talk about this match here that just ended Wednesday, January 22nd. Bayern Munich 0, Feyenoord 3 in the Champions League. That was a brutal, brutal match. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's so many things that went wrong with this one. I almost don't know where to begin. So I guess I'll just start here with the starting lineup that Vincent Kompany put together, and there weren't very many surprises, but I guess maybe one or two. So Manuel Neuer in between the sticks, Alphonso Davies at left back, Kim Min-jae and Dayot Upamecano as the center backs, Konrad Laimer at right back, Leon Goretzka and Joshua Kimmich in the midfield, Kingsley Coman at left wing. I thought there was a chance maybe we'd see Sané or Gnabry at the left wing, but nope, Kompany stuck with Coman. Jamal Musiala at the 10, Michael Olise at the right wing, and Harry Kane up top as the striker. So, I haven't liked what I've seen out of Kingsley Coman lately, so I maybe would have given him a rest. But other than that, this is probably the lineup I would have gone with. The midfield, you can always think about throwing Pavlovic in there. But other than that, this is probably the lineup I would have gone with. One thing that really sucks about this match is the table was shaping up for Bayern Munich's favor. Really, all they had to do was go out there and win their last two matches, this one included, and they would have locked in a top 8 spot, moved on to the next round of the UCL, no questions asked. And now I think their future in the tournament is really in doubt. One, because teams can see how beatable Bayern Munich is, and two, first of all, they have to most likely play a play-in game depending on how the last match day shapes out, and with the way that this new system is in the UCL, the play-in game could be really tough. Man City is going to be in there. Real Madrid's going to be in there. All these top teams in Europe that aren't in the top 8 are going to be in these play-in rounds. And yeah, Madrid and City are two of the most talented lineups, two of the most talented rosters, I guess, in Europe. So to play one of those teams would just suck so badly. But yeah, I guess let's kind of talk about how this match shaped out now, because really nothing went right for Bayern. Nobody was on the same page. Bayern could not finish the chances that they made, and when things weren't going to plan, Vincent Kompany panicked. And, I think that shows a little bit of his inexperience coaching in the Champions League. I mean, he hasn't won an away match now in the Champions League. I know that the Shakhtar Donetsk match was technically away, but it was in Germany because, they're not playing in Ukraine, obviously, right now with the war going on. And so I don't even know if you can really count that one technically as an away match. You can't put all the blame on Kompany for this one. I mean, it was mostly the players who just were not burying their chances. Like I said, I wasn't mad about the lineup. I thought Kompany, for the most part, set the team up for success. But yeah, the players were just not on the same page, and it was really a lackluster effort overall. But the match started basically 10 minutes late. The ball kicked off, and then instantly the match was delayed for around 10 minutes because the fans were letting off pyro and you couldn't see anything at all. So kind of a weird start to the match. It was just dumping rain the whole entire match. The Feyenoord fans were loud. It seems like they have some of the craziest fans in Europe from what I can tell. They were lighting off fireworks outside of Bayern Munich's hotel where the players were staying before the match. They advised Bayern fans not to wear Bayern Munich gear because these Feyenoord fans are known to attack other teams' fans. And, it just kind of makes me think, not to go off on too much of a tangent here, but I was thinking before the match, man, last year Bayern's fans got banned from going to any of these knockout away matches, Arsenal, some of the biggest away matches you can imagine. Bayern had no fans because their fans light off pyro, which is what every fan in Europe seems to do, I guess, maybe not England, but so, yeah, I don't know. It's weird to me how this stuff is allowed and how UEFA regulates certain things and decides when to punish teams and fans versus when not to, but that's a whole nother thing to get into. Let's get back to the match because the first score happened in the 21st minute, and that was after about maybe 10 minutes of actual play where Bayern kind of looked discombobulated, and the score for Feyenoord came from a long ball where Kim was wildly totally out of position, and then actually had a chance to even make up for it and get the ball, clear it, but instead he just whiffed, and Alphonso Davies was nowhere to be found on the cover, and it's an easy goal for Feyenoord. Now, it's a good assist, a good long ball, and a good finish, but most of the onus there, I think, is on the defense, the poor defending by Bayern Munich. Defending is something that the whole team has to do, but we're getting to the point where I'm about fed up with some of these mistakes in crucial Champions League moments. You just cannot keep making these mistakes in the Champions League because in the Champions League, the best teams in Europe, they are going to cost you. And cost Bayern, this one did. So at this point, Kim's aggressive positioning is becoming more of a hindrance to the team than it is a help. And I get it. This is his style of defending. It worked in Serie A. He was the best defender in Serie A in Italy at Napoli, but this kind of defending doesn't work in the Champions League for Bayern. It just doesn't. So something has to change there. The match kind of continued, and Bayern still just looked out of sorts throughout. Crosses were poor. Coman had a number of poor crosses. Finishing was bad. Kane had a couple of good shots that were saved, but he had a couple more that he maybe could have done more with. Olise was almost nowhere to be found at times, and same with Musiala. Musiala eventually got a good shot or two in there, but, a good shot or two isn't going to cut it, essentially. You have to take these chances, and you have to bury them. 45th minute +6, Alphonso Davies goes down, injured, and this is probably the worst thing that happened on an incredibly shitty day. Davies getting injured. I really hope he's okay. It looked like a non-contact injury, and he knew that he was done as soon as he was on the ground. You could tell he looked over to the sidelines, and it was clear that he was going to have to come off, and on comes Rafael Guerreiro, instantly causes a penalty. Yeah, as soon as Guerreiro comes on, Feyenoord has a breakaway, and Bayern actually defends it well. I believe Upamecano got back nicely, and Guerreiro actually got back nicely, but then Feyenoord kind of dribbled the ball out, and Guerreiro at the edge of the box runs into the Feyenoord attacker, and yeah, he goes down and, then gets a penalty, buries the penalty, great shot, upper left-hand corner, Neuer dives left, almost gets there, but the ball's just too high for Neuer to get to, and Feyenoord go into halftime up 2-0, and at that point, Vincent Kompany kind of threw his game plan out the window. He actually brought in Leroy Sané for Konrad Laimer and ended up going with a 4-1-4-1 style of formation with Goretzka kind of in that one midfield position, Kane still on top, obviously, and just opted for a more attacking lineup. And it didn't work. Bayern continued to miss their chances. Zane coming in, he had one that maybe went off the bar, maybe just barely missed the goal. But again, same old story. Nobody could bury their chances. Coman, Zane, and then later on in the 62nd minute, Gnabry came on for Coman. Gnabry couldn't do anything, and Pavlovic came in for Kim. So Kompany shifted to this like ultra attacking lineup, just trying to throw everything at the wall and praying to God that something works, but it didn't. I thought Pavlovic looked okay. He was trying to distribute, was trying to make chances, but it just wasn't Bayern's day. 83rd minute, Thomas Muller comes on for Jamal Musiala, and in the 89th minute, things kind of went from bad to worse. The whole match was really out of Bayern Munich's grasp. The ref lost control of the match. Thomas Muller gets blatantly fouled, and nothing happens. The ref says, "No, just keep playing." And Feyenoord goes down and scores the third goal there. So none of these decisions would have altered the course of the match. Feyenoord won. They were the better team by far today. Although if you look at the stats, it'll look like Bayern was probably the better team. As always, Bayern dominates XG, Bayern dominates possession, whatever stat you want to pull up, Bayern dominates. But at the end of the day, they just weren't good enough. And I thought Feyenoord deserved to win the match. Now Bayern falls down the UCL table. They're probably around 15th or so. If they win their last match, they should have a playoff match. If I were to give a man of the match, it would definitely be Feyenoord's keeper. He was making every save imaginable. And for Bayern, I thought Kimmich had a solid match, and I thought Upamecano had a solid match. Really nobody else. Maybe if I go back and watch highlights or kind of think about things a little bit more, I would have some more to say, but Bayern had 9 big chances, scored none of them. Feyenoord probably scored all their big chances, so that's kind of what it comes down to at the end of the day. I think this is about where I'm going to wrap things up. I hope this wasn't too much of a rambling session, and I hope, you as a listener could get something out of it, but Bayern is back in action this weekend, Saturday, January 25th in the Bundesliga at Freiburg. Really a match you got to win if you want to turn things around and if you want to stay on top of the Bundesliga table. You have to keep winning because Leverkusen looks great right now in the league. I've been watching their matches and damn, do they look good. But, I'm looking forward to the match on Saturday. I'm looking forward to supporting Bayern Munich, of course, through good times, through not so good times. So thank you for listening to this episode of the Always Bayern Chelsea show. As always, check out that YouTube channel, subscribe, and we'll be putting out video episodes, for the normal show. This is a little bit of a one-off emergency meeting, as I said in the intro. Thank you again for listening. Mia San Mia, forever.